Hello, everyone over at It's Your Day Vacation. Thanks again for joining me. Mark back again, and today we're going to go ahead and talk about some advanced booking techniques. We're going to go ahead and play around with the advanced search page and also some things that we can do within the multiple destination search as well. So previously we went over basic bookings, how to make a just standard reservation using the filters, using some other options for you too, like sales email, comparing itineraries, and everything like that. So today's going to be more focused on more of the more advanced techniques. So why don't we go ahead and get started? I am on the FunJet Vacations Anchor Store page. Underneath your Book Now area, you're going to see where it says Advanced Search and Multiple Destinations. This is going to be where we're going to be focusing on today. So let's go ahead and click on Advanced Search. All right, so it looks like a standard booking screen. So from here, we're going to kind of look at a couple options that you can use in here. So the big thing with the advanced search page is you have options to use filters for flight, hotel, and your rental cars. So I'm going to show you a couple cool tricks within this page. So quite popular nowadays is customers having their flights, for example, let's say 10 nights. And they need a hotel for maybe 5 nights. So they may be staying with family, friends, they have a hotel certificate for a free stay, whatever it may be. So we're going to look at how to book those types of vacations. And we're going to also look at a shop by schedule option. So when you make a reservation, it's going to automatically go shop by price. So shop by price matches up classes of service for you. And there are going to be some times where you are looking for a specific flight and you may find it available on an airline's website, but you don't see it within VAX. Well, that's because the classes of service aren't matching up for price point. So we're going to look at how to search by classes of service so you can pull those flights. It will give you more availability. And also, it's a great way to ensure that you have the classes of service needed if you have to do a price match. So we're going to go ahead and go in here. So I'm going to still use Chicago as my departure city. And let's go ahead and go down to Dominican Republic. I'm going to select my dates. Let's go April 20th. Let's say 10 nights for flights. Again, you can get up to 4 rooms, 8 passengers on here. If you have your promotion code, enter it right there. I'm going to select my travel protection. And now from here, let's say they only need the hotel for 5 nights because maybe they are staying with relatives or they have friends down there and they already have somewhere else that they're going to be staying for the other 5 nights. So how you can filter that is when you expand the hotel area, you have options here where you can search by a specific hotel name or a hotel brand. One thing I do want to point out is if you do put a hotel name in there and it's not available for the dates, it will come back with an error message and you won't pull up any of the availability. So I always recommend leaving it blank, going to search, and then using your filters within the reservation system to get to the hotel that you need. Below, you're going to have a calendar. So here's going to be where you can modify your hotel dates. So let's say they only need the hotel the 20th through the 25th. Okay, great. Click on the calendar, click on the new desired date that you want, whether it's a checkout date early or a check-in date a little bit earlier. So that's how you would do that. So we're going to go ahead and hit search in just a few seconds, but let's touch base as well on the shop by schedule option. And we're going to go ahead and proceed with that. So you can kind of see how it looks. It's going to look different than your normal search that you would on your main FunJet main page. So you're going to click the radio button right here under schedule. You have your option to search by specific carrier, number of stops, departure time, and return time. I leave those as any because there's filters within the reservation search that you can use. So let's go ahead and hit search now. And anytime you are using the advanced search page or the multiple destinations, it does take a little bit longer just because you're pulling up so much more information within the system. So just keep that in mind. It does take a little bit longer. So let's wait for our availability to pull up. And then we'll go ahead and go through everything in there. There we go. All right, so you notice that the flights populate first, and it looks quite a bit different. So let's look at all these filters that you can use in here. You have the additional search items right over here where you can select an alternate origin if you want, choose your carrier, departure, or return time. Well, in your outbound flight area and also your return flight area, in the box that is colored in blue, if you click on carrier name, that'll alphabetize your airlines, A to Z. If you click on it again, it'll go Z to A. If you click on departs, it will go earliest departure to latest. Arrives, earliest arrival to latest arrival. Then if you click on stops layover, it will go from 0 stops, 1 stop, 2 stop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this United Airlines flight that leaves at 9:12 a.m., gets in at 2:50. You have your best price option right here, but we're not going to look at that. We're going to look at where it says view class. So if you click on the plus sign next to view class, it'll expand and pull all your classes of service. All right, so how it will read is kind of like a book. It'll go top to bottom, left to right. So in this case, J as in John class of service is going to be the most expensive. Least expensive will be N as in Nancy. So again, top to bottom, left to right, just like you're reading in a book. So again, a reason why you would use this is possibly if you're price matching against a competitor, as you'll need the exact classes of service to match. So let's go ahead and let's say you have priced out a T as in Tom class of service. Okay, we're going to click on the radio button right there. And now we're going to select a return flight. I'm going to use this flight right here at the 1:10 p.m. getting back at 5:14. We'll click on my plus sign next to the view class to expand the classes of service and go ahead and select the class of service needed. So T as in Tom. And now from here, what you're going to do is hit price selected flights. Perfect. All right, so this is going to be your next page. If there is a bulk airfare available, it will populate for you and show you the difference in pricing between the bulk and the published. If there is no bulk airfare available, it will go straight to your next page where you can select your hotel and add your features. So in this case, the bulk is a little bit less expensive. I'm going to go ahead and select that. And now from here, it's going to take us to our itinerary summary screen. So now we're going to be able to go ahead and choose whatever hotel that we choose to by clicking on hotels again. And now we can use our filters to select the hotel that we desire. So I'm just going to use this first one right here as our example. All right, so you notice up here in our flights, we have April 20th of 2020 through the 30th. But our hotel, we have the 20th through the 25th. So we have offset our air and hotel packages. Well, what happens if, let's say you forget to do that at the initial search page? That's not a problem. You can actually do it within the reservation screen you're currently at. And how to do that is we're just going to go back under our hotels. Let's wait for that to populate. All right, so underneath all of our filters on our left-hand side, if you scroll down under additional search items, you're going to see your calendar for check-in date, check-out date. So you can offset your dates right here as well. Or if you want to go back to have the hotel stay the same length as your airfare, just go back here, click on your calendar, and reselect your dates. Once you hit search, it's just going to update the search for your hotel. It's not going to do anything with the flights. So don't be discouraged if you forget to do it at the initial search page, because you can always do it at this screen as well. All right, so let's go back to our search page. And we're going to go under multiple destinations now. We're going to click on the radio button for multiple destinations. And I'm going to show you the easiest way of how to search for your multiple destinations, or how to go ahead and book it. All right, so again, you have the availability to pull up 4 rooms, 8 passengers. So my recommendation here is, if you have multiple rooms on a multiple destination reservation, book each room on its own reservation. Just because down the road, if you have to make any modifications, it's going to make things a lot easier and a lot cleaner for your customers. So we're going to go ahead and price out. Oh, it's nice and gloomy here in Milwaukee, so I feel like going to Hawaii. So let's go ahead and head out to Hawaii for this. We're going to put in our departure city. I'm going to use Los Angeles as my example. We're going to select our travel date. So let's go ahead and do something in April. Let's do the 5th. So we're going to go ahead and go to Honolulu first. So if you start typing in Hawaii, if you do not know the specific airport code, it will automatically pull all of your Hawaiian airport codes for you. Then you can select which one you need. All right, so number of nights, let's say 4 nights. And because we have an air and hotel package, we do not have the availability to actually deselect our over-the-water flights. So you do have a package option where you can choose hotel only with the optional inter-island airfare for Hawaii. So no over-the-water flights, but you do have the option for the flights between the islands. And now from here, what we're going to do is look at the components that we actually need for our customers. Do we need a hotel? Yes or no? It automatically has it selected. If they do not need it, deselect it. Rental car, same thing. I'm going to remove the rental car because when I was out in Honolulu, plenty of options for taxis and Uber, Lyft, and it's just going to be a lot easier, and you don't have to pay for the parking at the hotel. You have your additional hotel features right here if you need them. So now destination 2, let's say we're going to go ahead and go over to Maui, which has airport code OGG. Or you're going to select your number of nights. Let's say 5 nights out in Maui. So here's kind of the way I like to present this, because it's going to make things a lot easier. Rather than having maybe 3, 4, 5 different destinations, and then looking at your package kind of as a whole, be like, oh, okay, wow, this is a lot of options that I have to select. Look at it this way, going from destination 1 to destination 2, then what do I need in that destination? And then if you have an additional destination, okay, destination 2 to destination 3, how am I going to get there? Then what do I need in that destination? That additional destination button is going to be right below, right here. It says additional destination. If you want to add one before, you would just go up and hit where it says add destination before. So in this case, we are going from Honolulu over to Maui. And am I going to need a flight? Yes or no? In this case, I will need a flight, yes, because we're not going to be able to drive. Hotel. Do I need a hotel in destination 2 over in Maui or no? Same thing with a rental car. Do I need a rental car or do I not need a rental car? And then below you have your options for your return flight. So the one really neat thing about the multiple destination tool within Vax Vacation Access is, because a multiple destination is considered 2 or more destinations, you actually have the opportunity to change your return city. And we're going to go ahead and play around with that a little bit more, but it's pretty simple. So right here it says going back to Los Angeles, because that's where we were departing from. All you do is just remove it, and then add your new airport code that you need to go back to. So it would be as simple as that. So if you want San Diego, just put an SAN. And now we'd be going back to San Diego. You have your additional flight options as well down here. You're able to filter down to airline, cabin preference, or number of stops. So let's go ahead and hit search. Just so you can see the booking flow of it. It's a little bit more natural. And again, because we are in the multiple destination tool, it's just going to take a little bit longer for all the availability to pull because it's pulling a lot more inventory. So let's go ahead and wait for that to populate for us. All right, it is thinking. All right, perfect. So from here, it's just going to kind of go in the natural flow of the booking. You're going to select your flights, then you're going to go ahead and select your hotels and features. So just for purposes, I'm just going to start selecting flights. So we're going to hit select. So that is our LA to Honolulu flight. Next will be the flight between our islands. So we're going from Honolulu over to Maui. We're going to go ahead and select that flight. So again, remember, we have our filters that we can use, whether if you want a morning departure, afternoon, evening, or night, number of stops, airlines, etc. I am going to use this 6:10 a.m. for our example. So I'm going to go ahead and hit select. And now from here, we're going to go ahead and select our return flight. One thing I do want to point out is a lot of times when you're heading out, or heading back from, I should say, Hawaii, or a lot of flights to Europe, South Pacific, Asia, you're going to have a lot of next day arrival flights or second day arrival flights. So anytime you have a flight and you see something in red, so this one says 7:20 a.m. and it's in red, that means it's a next day arrival, and you'll have that showing right there as well. So it says big, bold, and red letters, next day arrival. So just keep that in mind, that if you see that, that just means they're arriving on the next day. We're going to go ahead and just hit select. All right, so we have all of our flights selected. Let's say you forgot to deselect a flight between your islands. You can always go back in here and click remove if you choose to. All right, so now from here, we would go ahead and select our hotels and our features that we choose to. So we will go ahead and click on our hotels, use our filters, and select whatever hotel option best fits our customers. We already covered that in our basic bookings. That looks the same. I just kind of wanted to show you how the flow of a multiple destination looks, and also kind of the way it looks when you get to the checkout page. So let's go ahead and get back to our main page. All right, so I'm going to go back into the multiple destination field. And before we go ahead and talk about the next topic, cruises nowadays are very popular among travelers. So did you know in Vax Vacation Access you can still book a package for your customers outside of their cruise? Because your customers are going to need to get to that port. And they might want a pre-hotel night stay and a post-night hotel stay. That's very common. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that within Vax. This way, you can still get a reservation in Vax, offer those additional benefits such as that travel protection plus, because we all know cruises do not always go. So you have that option for that cancel for any reason travel protection. Great benefit, especially when you have those cruises. So let's say, for example, they're going to be going on a Caribbean cruise out of Miami. Okay, not a problem. We can go ahead and do that. We're going to select our departure city. So let's say we're going from the East Coast JFK. You're going to select your dates. So April 7th. And your first destination is going to be their pre-stay. So the cruise is going to be leaving from Miami for the example that I'm using. So we're going to select Miami as destination 1. So the number of nights, you can select however many number of nights. Maybe they want a little mini vacation prior to their cruise. Or if they just want that one night so they don't have to get up even earlier, take that flight, then get on the cruise right away. So I'm going to change my number of nights down to 1. Flight is needed, so that's automatically there. I'm going to keep the hotel because we need that. Deselect my rental car. If they want the rental car, you can keep it on there. Destination 2 is going to be their cruise. So you can put in whatever really destination that you want. So for example, I'm going to put in Jamaica. The number of nights you're going to have is the actual length of their cruise. So let's say it's a 10-night cruise. You're just going to select 10 nights. And now from here is going to be where the important piece is. You're going to want to deselect all of your components because they don't need a flight because they're going to be on that cruise. They don't need a hotel, and they don't need that rental car. So we're going to deselect all of our components. And now for a post night, we're going to go ahead and click on Add Additional Destination. And since they're going to be returning back to the Miami area, we're going to go ahead and do a post night in Miami as well. So destination 3 will be Miami, so MIA. Number of nights, I'm going to select 1 because they're going to only want that post night. Again, if they want to stay additional nights, they're more than happy to, and I'm sure you would love that too, more commission for you. So now from here, what components do we need? So they're going to be on that cruise for 10 nights. Okay, so we're not going to need that return flight from our cruise area to Miami. So I'm going to deselect that. Do they need that hotel? Yes or no? I'm going to keep the hotel because we want that one night stay. And the rental car, same option there. And again, if they are returning back to a different city, just remove your original return city and add in the new one that you need. So let's go ahead and hit search. I just kind of want to show you how it looks. So let's wait for all of our inventory and availability to populate. All right, it is thinking. All right, so I'm not going to go ahead and just start selecting flights. I'm just going to kind of show you how this looks. So you have the flights that you've selected. Below will be your first destination, so your one night. So we can see April 7th through the 8th. So we have our one night hotel. Destination 2, which is our cruise, you can see that it is empty. Then destination 3, we had our post night back in Miami for one night. So we can see the 10th or the 18th through the 19th. And one thing I kind of do want to point out is I know for Miami, it's a pretty big area where cruises come out of. There are transfers available to the port and everything. So just keep that in mind. You have that option to get them to the cruise port. So that's how you would book a pre and post cruise. The last one I want to touch base on is really another common thing that customers are doing. It's something that we call an open jaw. So an open jaw reservation is where your customers are flying from one city, taking their vacation, and flying back to a different city. We've already seen that we can do that within our multiple destination field. But what happens if they only want one destination? Well, you can still do that right in Max, and I'm going to show you how. So let's go back to our search. Right, so we need a minimum of 2 nights in order to do this because we have to be in the multiple destination field. So I'm going to remove my third destination because we had 3 destinations in our last example. So remove destination 3. All right. So now we have our 2 destinations. And I'm going to use an example of JFK down to Dominican Republic. And then let's say they need to return back to Dallas Fort Worth. Okay, so we have our departure city of JFK. I'm going to keep the departure date the same. I'm going to change my destination over to Dominican Republic, so Punta Cana. You're going to select the number of nights that they want their package for. So let's say they're doing 7 nights. Okay, we have a hotel selected. Well, we have 2 destinations here, but they technically don't need 2 destinations. So how are we going to do this? Well, it's actually quite simple. So for your second destination, what you're going to do is put in that same destination code that they had for their first destination. So we're going to put in again PUJ for Punta Cana. The number of nights, we're going to select 0. And then we're going to have no components. So we do not need any components for that second destination. So we're going to remove all of those components. This is the way you're going to be able to get it in the system to where you have one destination and you can still have that option to fly back to a different city. So we were going to go back to Dallas Fort Worth. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and remove JFK from our return city. Put in Dallas Fort Worth Airport code, so DFW. Use our additional flight options if we choose to. And let's go ahead and hit search. I'll show you how that looks. Alright, so let's wait for that. Alright, so everything's pulling. Alright, so we're going to select our flights. I'm going to go ahead and select a nonstop. Use my filter on the left-hand side. Click on the nonstop. So we have a Delta flight, 8:35, in at 12:40. We're going to go ahead and hit select. Now we're going to be able to select a return flight from Dominican Republic back to Dallas Fort Worth. We have our option for our filters over here, so it doesn't look like we have any non-stop options. So you can click on the one stops right there, but it does pull automatically for the option right here. So I'm going to select this option right here. So you notice it's Dominican Republic, so PUJ back to Dallas Fort Worth. So now after you select your flights, you're going to be able to go ahead and select the hotel and the room category that you choose to, and go ahead and apply those filters as well if you need to. So this is going to be how a OpenJAW itinerary looks. We have destination 1 down in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Destination 2 is completely empty. So that's how you're going to go ahead and book a OpenJAW reservation or flying from one city, going back to a different city. So that is what I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, Avis does have my contact information. Please feel free and reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help out with whatever you guys need. And from here, Anthony will be going ahead and reaching out to you guys and going over groups. He might split it up into 2 different ones. So Avis, just coordinate with Anthony. He'll be on the email that I send over to you with the link for this video. And he'll go over groups, the 2 different types of groups and the benefits, and also the really cool dashboard that really allows you to basically self-service your own groups within Vax Vacation Access. It's a really cool feature to use, so um, that should be exciting. So thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your Sunday and spending it with me. I hope everyone had a great holiday, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you very much, and have a great day.